Hey, what's up you guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to explain to you how you can buy your first rental property, be it Airbnb or any kind of rentals. Pretty much the rules are the same. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is to have the down payment, the letter of pre-approval from the lender if you're getting a loan. Most of the time you would need somewhere around 15 to 20% of down payment. Let's say the house worth 100k, you would probably need 15 to 20k to put as a down payment money. There's a couple exceptions. If you're buying the house for yourself or with intention to live in it, then you might have used less of a down payment, but keep in mind that's only doable once or twice in the future when you would be investing. Most of the lenders would require you to have at least 15 to 20% of down payment. Most of the time I recommend to go with a 20% down, because when you do 20% down, then pretty much you get lots of benefits, including the lower rate and no PMI mortgage insurance. Most of the time, especially the younger part of my viewers are asking, hey, I got like a couple $1,000, can I buy something? I'll be honest with you guys, I would advise to invest somewhere else, opening up maybe a CD account and then use that money. Most of the time, the piece of the puzzle that people miss is that you also have to have a good credit score. Obviously, this is not something requires lots of IQ to have. Most of the time, especially if you're young, you're getting credit cards here and there, you can pretty much spoil your credit score, so you have to be really careful with that. Let's say you have a not really good credit score. First thing I would do, I would go try to fix my credit. There are like lots of bureaus who can fix the credit scores, but that would be the first thing that I would personally do, and then I would only get the loan. To get the best rates, you probably would need to be about 750-ish, I want to say. Also make sure to not have any collections on your account, because that also might be having a negative effect on your credit score. If you don't have any credit at all, I believe I have a video on my channel about the credit cards. Make sure to check that video. There are credit cards that pretty much help you to build a credit score from the zero. One of the things that the lender would probably require you to have or ask for that document would be the tax returns. Just make sure you guys to have the tax returns ready when you go to the lenders. That will help a lot. Especially if you're self-employed, that's a really important part. How it works is they require you to have 2 years of tax return and then combine it, whatever you made in the first year and second year, and then spread it for 24 months, and this is pretty much the payment you would be getting qualified for. Sometimes they also might require you to have a bank statements, proof of income, or any kind of profit that you might have. It's really important to understand, if you're planning to invest in real estate, sometimes it makes more sense not to deduct everything on your taxes. How it works is sometimes lenders would need to see that, especially if you're working with them first time, that you're a legitimate guy, you have a legitimate income, makes things much easier. More you're paying taxes, pretty much, for the larger loan you would qualify. And by paying taxes, I don't mean like literally paying taxes. I mean your income have to be big, then deductions have to make sense. Like on papers, you don't have to lose any money. I would strongly advise to talk to the lender before you file your taxes, especially if you know your lender or your CPA, and especially if you're self-employed. What happens is most of the time people go to open houses, check out the houses that they do not qualify for, and then they compare the houses that they qualify for with that house. So it's really important to set up the right expectations from the get-go. When you go to the lender, it's also important to let them know that, to ask them not to run a hard credit on your score. Instead, just tell them what the credit is so that they could give you an estimate. Most of the time, if you don't know what your credit score is, you can just go to the websites like Experian and just see what's your credit score. It will pretty much show whatever it is. It helps by multiple ways to know what your credit score is, because you would just not waste time and you would be able to set up the right expectations for yourself and people who work with you. Also, it doesn't matter if you got qualified, if you haven't got qualified, just start looking for the properties. You would at least understand how market works. There's an interesting thing. When you look at the market for a while, what happens is you start to understand the trends, and that's really important. I will have some other tips on the next video, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to put the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel.